For teenagers who want love, moral stories. Here's the simple lesson that helped Akosua go from careless to wise, and why ignoring it could cost you trust forever. In a small village in Ghana, where the morning sun touched the roofs like warm gold, lived a girl named Akosua. She was 15 years old, bright-eyed, quick-footed, and curious about everything. Akosua loved helping her mother at the market. She loved the colors, she loved the sounds, but most of all, she loved the baskets. Round baskets, tall baskets, short ones with blue patterns, big ones that could hold a whole week of cassava. To Akosua, a basket was more than a container. It was a little story made of grass, hands, and patience. But there was one basket she loved more than all the others, a beautiful woven basket that belonged to Auntie Abina, the best basket weaver in the whole village. Everyone knew Auntie Abina's baskets were strong, neat, and made with care. And everyone knew something else. Auntie Abina did not easily lend her baskets, not because she was unkind, but because she believed something important. If you borrow a thing, you borrow its responsibility too. Akosua had heard that sentence many times, but she didn't fully understand it, not yet. One Saturday morning, Akosua's mother called to her from the cooking hut. "Akosua, come here, my child." Akosua ran over. Her mother was standing beside a bowl of fresh garden eggs, tomatoes, and peppers. "I need you to take these to the market for me today," Mama said. "I promised Auntie Ama I would bring them before the sun gets too high." Akosua nodded quickly. She loved going to the market, but when she looked around, she frowned. Their own baskets were not there. She tried to remember. Oh, Baba had taken them to repair something at the farm, and he wasn't back yet. "Mama, we don't have any baskets." Mama sighed softly. "It's true, but the food must still go. Why don't you ask one of the neighbors to lend you a basket? You are respectful. They will help." Akosua nodded again, but inside, she felt a small twist, a mix of nervousness and hope. There was only one basket she wanted to use. Auntie Abina's. It was big enough, it was strong, and it was the only basket nearby. Akosua swallowed hard. She walked toward Auntie Abina's house, repeating in her head, "I will borrow it carefully. I will return it early. Everything will be fine." Auntie Abena was sitting outside, weaving a new basket with bright orange strands. Her hands moved like music. When she saw Akosua approaching, she smiled. "Hey, Akosua, what brings you here so early?" Akosua took a deep breath. "Auntie, please. Mama needs me to take food to the market. But we don't have a basket today. Please, may I borrow yours? I will be very careful." Auntie Abina paused. Not long. Just long enough to make Akosua feel her heart thump. Then Auntie Abina said, "You may borrow it, Akosua. But listen well." Akosua nodded quickly. "Do not put too much in it. Do not drag it on the ground. And most importantly, return it before the next sunrise." Akosua smiled so wide she almost dropped the basket. "Thank you, Auntie. I will take care of it." Auntie Abina nodded slowly, her eyes kind but serious. "Remember, child, a borrowed thing carries trust inside it." Akosua nodded again. She understood. At least she thought she did. She hurried home with the basket. The village market was full and lively. Women calling out prices, goats trotting between stalls, children chasing each other, drums in the distance, smells of kenki, smoked fish, and ripe fruit. Akosua felt proud walking through the busy paths with Auntie Abina's basket on her hip. She placed her mother's food inside it carefully. She arranged everything neatly. She made sure the basket never touched the dusty ground. People noticed. "Hey, Akosua, that is Auntie Abina's basket, eh? Fine basket." Akosua stood a little taller. Yes, she trusted me with it. Hearing herself say that made her chest warm. Trusted. She liked that word. By noon, She had delivered everything. Her mother was proud, and her Auntie Alma, was thankful. Everything had gone perfectly. But the day was not over. Something was about to happen. Something small at first. Small like a thread coming loose from cloth. A choice, a mistake, and a lesson. A lesson about honesty. A lesson about responsibility. A lesson about community. A lesson Akosua would remember all her life. After finishing the market errands, Akosua felt light and proud. She carried Auntie Abina's basket on her hip as she walked home. The basket wasn't heavy now. It only held a few tomatoes Mama had bought. The sun was warm but kind. The path was smooth. Everything seemed perfect. But ahead, Akosua saw something she did not expect. Her friends were playing by the big mango tree. They were laughing, running, tossing small stones to see who could hit the lowest branch. "Akosua!" her friend Kwaku shouted. "Come play with us." Akosua stopped. She knew she should go straight home and return the basket. But the afternoon looked so fun, and she hadn't played all week. She told herself, "It's only for a few minutes. I'll keep the basket right beside me. Nothing bad will happen." A small decision, a familiar one that almost everyone makes at some point. Akosua placed the basket gently under the mango tree. Then she joined the game. Just a little, just a moment, just a tiny break. That's what she thought. The children laughed and shouted with joy. Kwaku tossed a stone high into the air. Essie tried to jump and catch it. Kojo spun around pretending he was a great warrior. The play grew bigger, louder, wilder. Akosua forgot about the basket. Just for a moment, but a moment is all it takes. Essie ran fast, trying to tag Akosua from behind. Akosua darted to the side. She laughed. She dodged, and her foot caught the edge of the basket. She tripped. She fell sideways, and the basket, Auntie Abena's basket, slid across the ground. There was a tearing sound, a dry, sharp sound, the kind of sound that makes your heart drop before your eyes even look. Akosua gasped. The children froze. Dust settled around the basket. Akosua crawled toward it slowly, as if moving too fast might make the damage worse. She lifted it, and there it was, a small tear on one side. Not huge, not terrible, but clear and new. The tear was big enough that Auntie Abena would definitely see it. Akosua's breath caught in her chest. This was the basket she had promised to protect. The basket made with skill and care. The basket she had been trusted with. Her friends stared, wide-eyed. "Akosua, are you in trouble?" Kojo whispered. Akosua didn't answer. Her heart was beating too loudly for her to speak. The other children quickly tried to help. "Maybe she won't notice," Ezzy said hopefully. "You can hide that part when you return it," Kwaku added. "Or say it was already like that," Kojo suggested. Akosua shook her head. She knew none of that was right. But fear wrapped around her mind like vines. Fear said, "Auntie Abena will be angry. Everyone will think you are careless. What if she never trusts you again?" The fear grew louder and louder. "I'll fix it," Akosua said suddenly. Her voice was shaky. "I'll fix it before she sees anything." "How will you fix it?" AC asked. I don't know," Akosua admitted. "But I can't take it back like this." She picked up the basket and brushed the dust off. The tear looked even bigger now that she was holding it. She turned it so the torn side faced her skirt. She held it close. "I'll return it later," she whispered. When I've found a way." It was the first step down a difficult path. Not a path of evil, but a path of fear. A path many people take when they think hiding a mistake will make it disappear. Akosua walked home slowly. Her friends stayed behind. Quiet now. The wind didn't feel warm anymore. The sun felt heavier. The basket felt heavier too, not because of its weight, but because of what she carried in her heart. When Akosua reached home, Mama smiled. "You're back earlier than I expected. Did everything go well?" Akosua nodded quickly. Too quickly. "Yes, Mama." Mama didn't notice. She was stirring a pot of stew. "Did you thank Auntie Abina again for her basket?" Akosua froze. I will return it later," she said quietly. "I just want to rest a bit." Mama nodded. "That is fine, my child, but make sure you return it before evening becomes night." Akosua swallowed. She slipped into her small sleeping area. She placed the basket behind a cloth, hiding it from view, as if hiding it from her eyes would hide the truth. But the truth does not hide, and guilt does not sleep. As the day passed, Akosua felt the pressure build. Every sound made her jump. Every voice made her think someone had discovered the tear. Every time she looked at the basket, her stomach tightened. She tried to think of ways to fix it. Could she sew it? Could she glue it? Could she patch it with leaves? But everything she imagined would only make the basket look worse. And the sun was lowering. Evening was coming. The promise to return it before sunrise was creeping toward her like a slow drumbeat. Her little mistake felt bigger with every hour. Akosua sat alone, hugging her knees, the basket beside her. A quiet thought whispered in her heart, gentle but firm. "You could tell the truth." But a louder voice answered, "And face the anger? And shame?" The fear was winning, but not for long, because soon something would happen that would force Akosua to choose. To lie again, or to be brave for the first time. That night, Akosua barely slept. Morning light slipped into the room as Akosua sat quietly, staring at the torn basket she still hadn't returned. She wished she could make the mistake disappear. But mistakes never disappear. They wait. Just as she stood up, a soft knock came at the door. Mama called, "Akosua, someone is here for you." When Akosua stepped outside, her stomach tightened. Auntie Abina stood there. "Good morning, child," she said calmly. "I came for my basket. I need it early." Akosua felt her legs tremble. She brought out the basket with shaking hands, turning it slowly so the torn side showed. Mama's eyes widened. Auntie Abena quietly examined the tear. She didn't shout. She didn't frown. She simply asked, "Tell me what happened." Akosua's voice cracked. "I'm sorry, Auntie. I I played with my friends. I left the basket on the ground. I forgot about it. I fell on it. I tore it. I wanted to tell you, but I was scared you'd be angry. I tried to hide it. I'm sorry." Her eyes filled with tears. Auntie Abina knelt beside her. "Akosua," she said softly. "I am not angry." Akosua blinked. "You're not?" "No," Auntie Abina said, "because anger doesn't fix anything, but honesty does." She placed a warm hand on Akosua's shoulder. "Mistakes happen. Hiding them makes them grow. But today, you told the truth. That takes courage." Auntie Abina held out her hand. "Come. You helped tear it. Now, you will help mend it." They walked to her weaving hut. Inside, dried grass and colorful strands filled the room like quiet music. Auntie Abina showed her. Under, over, pull, smooth. Akosua tried. Her hands were clumsy. The grass slipped. But slowly, with Auntie Abina's patient guidance, the torn side began to come together again. Not perfect, but healed. Auntie Abina held up the basket. "This scar will stay," she said, "but it will remind you of something important." She placed the basket in Akosua's hands. "Remember this lesson. When you borrow something, you borrow trust. When you break something, you repair it. When you make a mistake, you tell the truth, even if you're scared. Mistakes are small. Hiding them makes them big, but honesty makes them light again." Akosua nodded, her heart finally calm. If this story inspired or taught you something, subscribe. It helps us share more meaningful stories like Akosua and the borrowed basket.